Yo, my people, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another welcome. Before we welcome Noni Madueke, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you are subscribed, do all of that stuff, people. Love for the support recently and love for the love. As always, I missed the Norgard welcome, people. Yeah, it just didn't happen. Apologies there. So, welcome, Christian, as well, alongside Noni. And this one's about Noni. Not the first video about Noni or the move and the direction we decided to go in for the improvement or the upgrade, however you look at it, on the wings. But Noni Madueke is official, it's signed, sealed, delivered, it's been announced, and he is a gunner. He is going to be wearing the red and white of Arsenal come next season. So let's park off thoughts about the move, why, how, because we are here. Not sure how we got here, but we are here. And, we've discussed that, or I've discussed my feelings about the move, the club, Arsenal, what we choose to do and choose not to do in this window in particular, more so than my opinions of the player himself. And this one's going to be more about Noni Madueke, the player, than it is about the move to go for him. Um, because, yeah, I was about to use the word divisive to say the least, but I don't think that word's fair. I think, it tickled a lot of the fan base the wrong way, both online, on the streets, in WhatsApp groups. Is it because he's from Chelsea? Is it the fee? Is it the quality? Is it the position? I think it's all of the above. But I think the quality, the player probably falls at the bottom of that list. I think it's everything else around it. And this ain't me here saying that Madweke should have been a target. This ain't me here saying I understand the move. It's about finding out now. It's about backing, hoping, praying, supporting, and making sense of it by seeing what Mikel and the club have in store. Because is he the upgrade that we've been craving on the left side, with Martinelli and Trossard both chopping and changing throughout the last 12, 18 months, both failing to really establish themselves as the starter moving forward? Or is he actually a backup, an expensive backup at that? Is this Arsenal moving into a new era in the transfer windows where for depth, for backup options, we are also spending big, bringing in exactly who we want, regardless of the fee necessary, because we moved quite quick on this one? Is it that? We'll find out, and the only way we can find that is game week 1, game week 2, game week 3, and so on. And there's still a little while before the season does kick off. And actually, he's off going on holiday now, considering he was out in America playing Club World Cup with Chelsea. Not that much, started a couple games, came off the bench for a few more, and essentially, agreed and signed for us prior to the final. And Chelsea went on to win that final, so I'm sure he gets a medal for his part to play in that. But across those games and towards the end of last season, a handful of games for Chelsea, he did play primarily on the left. Now, a lot of fans, a lot of friends are citing those games and saying he can play there. He hasn't played there a lot throughout his career. Probably played there most in the last few months than he had done for the majority of the years before that, across Chelsea, PSV, um, and even in the youth sides coming through. So, it's hard to really pinpoint where we envision Madueke fitting in best. Is it to compete and take that spot on the left hand side? Is it to just back up Saka and give Saka much needed rotation, much needed rest at times? We saw what happened to him last season, and I think part of that, without a shadow of a doubt, is the amount of game time, the amount of responsibility on his shoulders. Not only Arsenal Football Club, but that side alone, the amount of pressure on the right hand side for us is evident when teams are defending us and, tripling, quadrupling up. Once upon a time, it was doubling up, but teams got more and more comfortable knowing that our left hand side isn't as big a threat or isn't even relied upon, isn't gone to as much as our right hand side. So is Matt Weke there to back Saka up and allow Ranieri, who, listen, fingers crossed it all goes through, but it seems to be close to renewing his deal. And rumors are that he, will be getting more time centrally next season. What does that mean for other moves, including Eze, which I still hope to get done, including a Rodrigo, which I still hope to get done? Not too sure. But if I start dwelling on them, we'll go back to negative Turkish, pessimistic Turkish, wise Turkish, always moaning. This ain't a moaning video. This is more of a intrigued type of welcome video. I say intrigued, you can use confused. because I don't know where we see Madueke fitting in. If it is the left hand side, it is a massive risk. It would mean that we wouldn't be going for a Rodrigo, but who knows? Maybe it really is a new era because a couple more names, Eze Rodrigo, the word unprecedented, yeah, it'll be flying out of my mouth anyway, because I would have never seen Arsenal rebuild slash build so well in a transfer window from top to bottom. Add some player sales to that as well. Um, Looking at Noni's strengths, strongest attributes, carrying the ball seems to be the main play from a lot of us that are trying to make sense of it. Um, just behind Doku in successful ball carries throughout the Premier League last season, which does bode well. And before we get into why it bodes well, something a bit different, something a lot more serious. Let's talk about health. If you're feeling low, lacking energy, can't sleep, can't focus, this one might be for you. Around 1 in 4 men over 30 suffer from low testosterone, and 90% of UK men remain undiagnosed. Manual helps men learn if they suffer from low testosterone and suggests treatment to return levels back to the norm. As part of Manual's TRT service, you'll receive a comprehensive diagnosis as well as a bespoke treatment plan that may include medication, lifestyle advice, or supplements. Manual's goal: get you back to your best. I've struggled with sleep for a while, never getting enough hours before another busy, hectic day. And so I actually took a test myself about 6 months ago. The test is simple. Take the finger prick test, but best results before 11 a.m. Pop the test into the bag provided, label it all up, and send it off. Wait just a few days and you will have your results. Use code Turkish45 for 45% off your in-home testosterone blood test. It's the first step in putting your health first. You know what to do, people. Show Manual some love. They're showing the channel some love. More importantly, show yourself some love. Look after yourself. Look up Manual. Link in the description. Use the code Turkish45 if you're suffering from any of the above, as they say. And yeah, take step 1 in becoming a better you. There you go, people. Something different. Show Manual some love. Obviously, that's the testosterone test. If you need something like that, if you're feeling some of those symptoms, then hit the link, get what you need to get, and test it out. Why not? But if there's more to it, if there's something else you want to check out, then Manual, there's a vast array of services and options that they can provide in terms of men's health. So look out for Manual, people. Show them some love. There's a link in the description. But yeah, as I was saying, Madueke's strengths, main one being ball carrying, just behind Doku last season. That bodes well if we're looking to tweak a little. And I expect us to be looking to tweak a little. And by us, I mean Mikel Arteta, who's the head honcho, who's the man that, sets us up and gets us going again. That tweak, I expect to quicken the pace, loosen the shackles a little bit in terms of how quick we transition the ball from defense into the final third, into the attacking quartet, if you include Odegaard in that. I expect that tweak will fall in line and benefit a Noni Madueke, because, in my opinion, that strength, ball carrying, is realized more in one-on-one situations when he has space to run into, stretch his legs, and use his pace and ability to go inside and out to beat a defender. When things get tight, especially when you look at the current state at Arsenal, when things got tight over the last 18, 24 months and the pace slowed down, we could see how much that affected a Martinelli, who I also think, with a bit of space, with the ball a bit quicker into his feet, with the chance to face up 1v1 with his opposition fullback defender who he's up against, we saw a much better Martinelli in the 22-23 season. So does the Noni Madueke move alongside the Zubamendi move and the upcoming Gyökeres move indicate that we are looking to get it from midfield into attack? We're looking to, get in behind quicker than we have done over the last 18, 24 months. One of those seasons, we nearly got over the line, the closest we've come in the Emirates era. The season following, the season just gone, underwhelming, found out a little. So it's going to be really interesting to see what tactical changes are made, not just to suit Noni, to suit all the signings that are coming in terms of the first team, the big boys, Zubamendi 50 M's, Madueke 50 M's, Gyökeres is going to be north of 50, 60 M's. These are the players that I'm looking at. How do they fit into what we were doing last season? Zubamendi can. He's got a bit of both about him. But Gyökeres and Madueke, in my opinion, indicate that we are looking to, speed it up a little. And obviously, look at the welcome bid for Zubamendi. I went back and watched that, considering people were saying exactly what I said about slowing it down and speeding it up was one of the key points behind the welcome bid. So Zubamendi should enhance the options, the access we have into the final third, which should also help Odegaard, by the way. But obviously, this ain't an Odegaard or Martinelli vid. I keep on straying, but Madueke and his qualities will suit a team that are more able to transition the ball a bit quicker, a bit smoother, and get the attack really going. Get the blood racing a little, a bit of excitement when you win the ball back, because we're very good at winning the ball back. It's what we do next that's kind of gone to the point where it became a bit frustrating, looking at us play and looking at us try and, you know, methodically work teams out up until the 95th minute. And this season just gone struggling a lot of the time. But yes, Noni, a couple of his strengths there. Now, it's something I think he has to work on, and this is just from me watching him bit part throughout the season, is his first touch and the control of the ball, control of the dribble. Chelsea's probably not the best stomping ground, and a lot of wingers over the past 12, 18, 24 months have really struggled to find their feet, whether it's an experienced winger like Sterling. Yes, I know. We've had, a taste of that medicine as well. Whether it's a young, bright talent that's looking to, you know, kickstart his career again in a Sancho, or a young, bright talent from England, but playing over in Holland in Madueke, or Neto, someone that's, been touted for a bigger move over the years, never getting it, but eventually getting it. It hasn't really worked out for any of them thus far, even though a few of them had moments, including Madueke last season. Early on in the season, if you go to the club, my first official appearance on the club panel, we spoke about the top 10 players so far that season, and I was the only one to mention Madueke. Now, looking back, was I right? Probably not. He was in and around the conversation for me, but I've looked at Madueke at Chelsea, and at times I've thought, there's a player there. Midway through the season on the big six, I turned to Matisse. I said, Madueke's probably been your best winger all in. Again, that's not saying much, considering all in, their wingers are, not really all in, or haven't been all in. But Madueke, picked him out in terms of, similar to a few years ago with Saeed on the big six. I said, Elanga doesn't really seem like your problem. He's okay. His wages are not too high. It looks like he's trying, and he takes a move on, and he betters himself, and now he's got a move after a great season for Forest. Now he's at Newcastle, a team that have dreams of getting a bit closer to the Premier League title and becoming a more established European outfit. So Madueke, I mean, if he can get his head down, he's got the qualities. If he can use the emotion around this move as motivation, if he can use comments about why we're making this move, how Arsenal have come to do this move. If we can use that sort of thing for motivation, sometimes that's the best form of motivation for anyone. Sometimes criticism, sometimes doubt can really light the fire needed to become a better player, a better human, a better man, a better woman, and so on. So hopefully all of the emotions now they're, behind us now, because it's got to be behind us, considering, the balance between letting people know that the club's on a joke thing again, but also not allowing it to bleed over to Noni personally. I think we struggle to find that with this one. But the club, at the end of the day, when you move the way the club move and have moved over this Emirates era under the Cronkays, they have the fans in a volatile, in an emotional state. All we all want, whether you hate me or love me, whether you're positive, whether you feel I'm negative or real, whichever ends of the spectrum we're all on, we all want Arsenal to win again. We all want Arsenal at the top table again. So, part of that, Arsenal Football Club, and needs to make sure that the platform given to not only the players coming in, but the players at the club already, needs to be one of, we're nearly there. We're gonna do this now. Because there's a couple contracts still winding down that I'd love to get sorted out, but we'll talk about them when we need to talk about them. I've said what I need to say on Noni. Hopefully that was a bit more balanced. Hopefully people could, the ones that felt I was too emotional about the news when it's initially breaking all over the gaff. Don't forget, I tried to ignore it early on. I really tried to ignore it, but there's only so much you can take in terms of ignoring before it becomes a reality, and that reality is here now. People, Noni Madueke, Arsenal player, new winger. Hopefully it doesn't impact Rodrigo. Hopefully Eze's still in the plans, and hopefully the welcome for Gyökeres comes out real soon, because we ain't even got the here we go yet. We've got the here we go soon twice, so it's time for a here we go on that one now. Let's get that one in. Preseason tour around the corner. Love for the love, people. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't done so already. And obviously show Manual some love if you need any of their services. Use the link in the description and yeah, see what they're about. Peace.